Solstice, they get the win of that map number 3 and they make it top 4 in this Game Changer series. Still, welcome back everyone. I'm your host Dryad and once again joined by Ender and Athena. And the way that this map started, oh my god, it was domination once again on the side of Solstice. But on that second half, Ender, it got a little bit closer. It doesn't matter though. Solstice, they get that win.
Yeah, you know, you got to give the shout out to Mesos for coming back after. Remember that tech timeout in the second game? After that, there was a streak of 22 rounds to Solstice and only 5 to Mesos. And then after that, they were able to battle back and make it competitive. But honestly, in that first half, the combination of, you know, Nora having, or Scary Shark having some Scary Shark rounds, and the rest of the team just popping off was too much to deal with.
Yeah, this Breeze map was quite wild to watch, say the least. That first half, it just felt like Solstice was just so in the zone. They knew what they wanted to do. The only reason they lost a few rounds was just a little bit of miscons, a little bit of small mistakes. But then towards the end, Mesos, they felt like they understood, hey, there's no Cypher here to stop us from just full on executing. Every single round, they stuck to their guts. They had really good trades, and it came down to a lot of these clutch situations, 1v1s, 2v2s, and if you're Amanda, 1v3, like whatever that was about too, like that was crazy.
Still getting it done somehow. I do also want to just shout out Elaborate for a moment, because again, this is a player that was a duels player in the past, switched over, plays almost exclusively Sentinel role. Nowadays, this was her first ever competitive Astra game, as far as I can tell, and had a pretty big impact for the team. So that was a big shocker for me, and a great sign for a player that is looking more well-rounded than ever, I think.
I mean, at a certain point, too, on their defense side, they just had Ella alone on site as Astra, delaying for as long as possible. Like, obviously, they had, like, Melia, they had the flashes, the dart behind, ready to support, but Ella just did such a good job at delaying and almost clutching that 1v3 as well. Just the star being a little bit too close. Definitely a good shout-out.
And also, because we're just giving shout outs here, shout out to Mrs. Millionaires who did really good, especially on the map number 1. It kept things close on that second and third map. They tried to make a comeback. They tried winning this round. It was not enough, but a team that had a really good performance throughout this game changer. So it's good to see them always stepping up, seeing these new players come through, make it to the top 8, make it to the top 6 in there.
Yeah, I want to shout out my mom.
Oh, we're just giving shout outs at everything. Shout out my cats that are in my room.
True.
They don't come here.
Shout out to Dryad's cats, because they're so cute. We've been getting pictures all day.
No, but overall, the series was really good. It's a Solstice who absolutely deserves the win, and I'm happy to see and to get the chance to see them a little bit more. And we're gonna definitely be seeing them more because we have an interview now. It's time to jump into the Verizon post-match interview, and we have Subu on the line. Subu, congratulations on this win. I want to ask you, let me get this right. You're a Brazilian player who's played in LATAM Game Changers and now North America Game Changers.
Yes.
That is insane. Honestly, nobody's doing it like you. I want to talk a little bit about that because you're such a unique case for the scene. Last year, you came really close to making it to the LAN event in Colombia, almost making it to that international Game Changers. So talk to me about the changes between going to LATAM Game Changers to now playing this North American Game Changers and guaranteeing this top 4.
I mean, honestly, it's really different, right? I'm on a different role. I'm IGLing now. And, you know, last year was my rookie year. This is my second year competing. And even though, you know, it's different to play a different role, and it's different because, you know, you're all speaking the same language. There's no difficulty in comms. I mean, things are a lot more fluid, and it's nice.
And is a plan here for you to stay in this North America Game Changers or to still try to do both as much as you can?
I currently enjoy playing in North America. I love my teammates. I love playing with them, and I would love to keep playing with them.
Yeah, and you did really good. I think the IGLing is looking good. The team is looking good. And again, you guarantee the top 4, so it's a big deal. I want to ask you about specifically today. We got the chance to see a couple changes on that map of Breeze. And you as the IGL, how much of a role do you take in making these role changes and making these changes of what you're going to play in specific maps and what things are going to be different so you continue to get these wins?
Right. So a lot of it's just about experimenting, right? You know, there was always something missing on our Breeze, and to be honest, what really helped us was switching Elaborate to the Astra. It was a really good change from the Cypher. She's amazing with her util, and it allowed us to get a better half, and it allowed her to lurk without util being broken. And so that was really what pushed us to get what we needed.
And I also remember last time that we had you for an interview, you talked a lot about how it was you were not so much trying to play to counter the other team, but it was more playing to what you know, what you practice, your own thing, and making the game, you having the full control of the game. So was it the same case today? Was there a little bit of counter strat, or was it just let's play our game and this way we're gonna get a win?
Yeah, it was just play our game. I said this is ranked. We're playing against people in ranked. There's nothing different. We're just shooting our gun, and if we shoot our gun better, we'll win.
And that is exactly what you did. I have one more question for you, and it is going to be for that next match to make it to that top 3. You're going to have to beat either FlyQuest or Reform, depending on who's going to win. Can you give me a prediction on how you feel for that one, and also who you think is going to win that match?
Honestly, I think Reformed is looking really good right now. I think Misu is a phenomenal player, and I really think she can take this team to top 4.
I love that. I agree. Misu is amazing. We're going to see how that match is going to shape out. So, Bubu, thank you so much for the interview. A pleasure to talk to you. That being said, and speaking of that match a little bit, we're going to throw it to a break. And when we come back, we're going to have that Reform FlyQuest matchup. Welcome back to Verizon Game Changers. And it is time for the second match of the day. It's going to be Reform going against FlyQuest Red. I'm once again your host, Raya, joined by Ender and Athena. And let's talk about this. Athena, you know the name FlyQuest Red. Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know why though. That's crazy.
Never heard of it.
For those who don't know, Athena has played in FlyQuest Red before, so there's where the joke comes from. But we have this match where once again, and there is elimination. The team's fighting to stay and guarantee the top 4 in the Game Changers Series 2. And these are two that, with the vibes that I'm getting, with the questions that I'm asking here in the green room, we're not really sure who's going to take the win.
I mean, genuinely, FlyQuest is the big shocker, I think, of this event so far. Immediately playing that first series and getting dropped down to the lower bracket by Solstice is just not something that you expect out of a signed organization. But, of course, this is a team that has, you recognize literally everyone on this roster. Top 4 at a minimum is the expectation for this team, and much higher than that is what they're actually aiming for.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen them previously in Game Changers having that top 2 second place placement curse, and so I feel like that's kind of the expectation, is second place or better for them. And I'm going to be a little bit harsher because I do know these players in and out. I feel like every single one of these players has insane strengths, and they are considered veterans as well. Like, you need to realize a lot of these players have played on organizations, they've played at LANs, they've played together, they've played both Valorant, they played other games. It's just such a
like
high
Fortnite,
expectation.
Among Us?
What
are they?
Lethal Company?
Okay.
There's been the experience is absolutely there. Sonder playing the first Game Changers Championship in that first year, and for the second year, which was last year, we had Starborn and Thea playing for Evil Geniuses. So the experience is absolutely there. And then Dodo and Leis are names that are so well known in the scene, Ender, and it's a team that we definitely need to talk about, because yesterday they had a match against Teddy Tactics, and that's why they're here.
That is why they're here. Yeah, I was on the receiving end of Exec Simulator. I think they went A-site on Icebox every single round and just completely overwhelmed us. They actually switched up their comp. This came as a big surprise to us on Icebox, that they were playing the Sage, of all things, was something that took us by surprise, and they weren't actually rocking a duelist. But their actual utility flood onto this A-site, there was nowhere to stand. Like, if you tried to do any kind of early A aggression, they were throwing a mosh on pipes, they were throwing a molly shot combo on the orb. It was just really hard to do anything proactively, and they still had more utility to back it up after that. So it was definitely not fun to play against. And also, you're going to see a preview as well. When they took a site, they would almost always look to flip the map and fight into our spawn, which sometimes actually went pretty well for us. I think they were feeling really confident in the series and maybe overheated a little bit, but you've got to fear this team's ability to exec into a site.
Is a team that, with the names, with the strats that they're doing, with the way that they're executing these sites, they look unstoppable. They look really good. So I want to see today, Athena, how that's gonna play out, because even though they look really good, when you look at the roster, you're like, yeah, this is a top 2 for sure. They did not win one of their matches, right? That's why they're in the loser bracket. So let's talk about the other side, Reform, that might have a chance today, because it's a team that, okay, you look at it, might not have the most known names, but we just heard it from Subu. Misu is an insane player, Slandy as well, we've seen in previous teams, and all the other players as well that have been stepping up and getting these wins to make it to this point.
Yeah, I mean, based on their performance so far in this tournament, they're definitely underdogs, because the expectations obviously weren't that high, just because they were so unknown, kind of a little bit newer, new players, some old, doesn't really matter. But then, you know, each of these players, they've stepped up to the plate. They've had an insane synergy that's brought them to win a lot of these games. I mean, even Riv coming all the way from Australia, coming to play in a whole new region, but still absolutely dominating and having an insane debut. I mean, huge props to the individuals on this team and the way that they've come together to play.
Yeah, I like that you bring up Riv too, because I think one of the things I find so interesting about this team is they're one of the few teams that actually locks in the deadlock on some maps. Like Bind is a map where Riv will put in the deadlock, and actually in their first series against Mesos dropped a 22 kills, 10 deaths for plus 12 on that one. Was absolutely frying. So they do get a little bit more experimental, I think, in the comps that they play, and I think that can be something that is sometimes a little bit hard to adapt to on the fly when you go up against them.
Yeah, and I think one thing to also remember too is that this match in general is going to be a banger because FlyQuest has lost to Reformed before 2-0, and Reformed has shown that they have just been some unstoppable power because they actually did win against FlyQuest 2-0 in the grand finals of the open qualifier. Or the closed qualifier, sorry. And the first map was really, really close, but that second map, 13-5 on split, I mean, that is a blowout. It's not what you want to see when you're going up against a free agent team and you're the signed team member.
For sure. And I think, like, when I look at this series, I am rating it very close between these two teams, maybe even a slight edge to Reformed. But the previous matchup is a weird one to me because I don't think it fully represented how those teams were on the day. Like, FlyQuest looked phenomenal for 80% of Bind, and then had some really questionable rounds towards the end. It slipped away. They lost in a couple of overtimes, and I wonder how actually the mentality was going into the second map, because then they got run over, and that could be a concern of mine for this FlyQuest team. If they are shut out, or comebacks happen against them, can they actually keep it together in the mental game to stay focused to play it through for a full series?
That has always been a big deal for teams in Game Changers. If you're down a couple rounds, how are you gonna come back? How are you gonna reset and go again, make it seem like nothing happened, and take it round by round? And it's not an easy thing to do, but that's why this match is so interesting, because these two teams have played each other 2 times, and as we just got the chance to see it, the first time it was FlyQuest taking the win. That second time, the most important one for sure, was Reform taking the win. So today we didn't know what was going to happen. None of these two series have gone to 3 maps, so it seems like it's just a matter of time, and I feel like it's going to be these series when we're going to have the chance to see this going back and forth, both of them showing the firepower, showing the strat, and showing the names that we know, Athena, to perform at this stage and make it to the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited to see what maps they pick, because you talked about it going to a map 3, and I think that's going to be so important because Reformed's map pool has been so good. They've played every single map. They don't have a perma ban. They just choose to ban to their advantage. And now Sunset for this first map. I mean, Fly's pick. This makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes some sense. Their Icebox was also looking pretty hot yesterday, and Split is one that I think Fly have liked to go to in the past. I think that's the map they actually took off of Solstice back in that opening series, even in the loss. So all things considered, I mean, obviously, Reformed are happy to play just about any map, but I think this is pretty solid for FlyQuest, all things.
Yeah, I think for me, the only thing that I'm a little worried or skeptical about for Sunset is that Fly tends to play that breach comp. And the other day when we were watching them play, they didn't kind of utilize as much as the util from that breach as I would have liked to see. And I feel like when you're playing against a team like Reform, they're just going to run it down and abuse the fact that you're not that fast with that util.
Yeah. Anything that you can exploit in a map like this one, you're gonna exploit for sure, especially when you have those set plays on this map that we see constantly. But 2 amazing raids that we're gonna have on this map, I'm sure, as we jump into the agents like Millie going against Dodonut. Both players that have been known for playing the duelist role, most likely gonna be on the race for this one. And it's actually Millie, the player for the side of Reform, that has been stepping up, is the 4th on ACS in the main event so far, so looking really, really good. And Dodo, that has been kind of coming back and forth, a little inconsistent, but I feel like she's always been the GOAT. She's always been good enough, sure. And with the team around it, and I want to see how this map is going to play out.
Yeah, this is a huge stylistic mismatch between these two teams and the comps they're playing. There is so much control and stall options for Reformed, especially on their defensive side. I think that's going to be where they are strongest. That being said, if they're able to get on a site, I do not see how FlyQuest retake into it when there's potential Cypher trips, Astra Stars, Sage Walls going down. There is so much choke control from this comp that FlyQuest need to be fighting in front of Reformed and not actually allowing them to get control over sites.
Yeah, proactivity is really going to be the name of the game here for FlyQuest. They need to be able to push forward, kind of set up those trap plays or do a lot more beyond just the barriers of the game. Because if they let Reformed onto site, I 100% agree with you. Retaking is going to be a nightmare. Their post-plats are going to be insane. Their slows, their util, their choke point delays are just going to be top notch from Reformed in this comp.
We're gonna see who's gonna come up on top of this one. It's a relatively new composition on the side of Reform. They only played it one time against Shopify Rebellion. They did not win that one, but they're still getting adjusted to what is gonna be that stage and how it's gonna play out. We've seen it internationally. We've seen PaperX run this composition, and we've seen other teams trying to adapt to the stage and the way that you can take advantage of it. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And let's send it to Riff, not the player, but actually the caster and Gumpers.
Never gets old.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be casting with the player Riv. But we do, in fact, have an exciting matchup of FlyQuest versus Reformed. A rematch at that, Riv.
It is, yeah. I am excited to see this rematch too, because I think Ender's right. This is going to be a really close match. Neat to see the composition we have coming out from Reformed and how much it will control the map, and it almost puts in their favor that we only need a handful of rounds here on the attack side if defense could be that strong. Sometimes that loosens things up, lets you know that you have a little bit more room to play with, and if you only need a few, you might be able to get there a little easier. You always want as many as you can get, so we'll see. FlyQuest is going to be firing back just as hard, and they have so much firepower on that squad. We've been seeing them for so long here. Now they're going to start pushing their way down towards mid. A lot of action towards tiles to start, Compers.
Yeah, already pissed around, looking like it's going in favor of Fly so far, taking out two pretty heavy players, Duelist and the Initiator, so needing to look for something, at least something here in mid from Misu.
Can see that rotation quickly. Sandra Dodo not staying together, making sure they can work off each other's util, or at least back and forth to retake a site. Starbound off on their lonesome here as they just start to move around. Good control by RF so far to get some space and just make FlyQuest think about what's going on. Wall mid will stop the rotation over, and they're getting an idea of where the members of FlyQuest are now, knowing the Raze is on the right side. The Breach probably too after the rotation. It's all to Starbound.
And they're having a firepower right now, and especially with the flash moving forward, tons of damage from Fly. And a pistol round that might go in the hands of them. Yep, first round just settled down on the board for FlyQuest.
Quickly moving. Sandra was actually already kind of rotating around as that wall was going up. The nade to come over and make sure that the push through mid wasn't the play. They were still going through market, but nice coordination on FlyQuest to understand what space they couldn't take and what they needed to do in the situation. Finding the mid-fight first. It was nice to get into the action right away, and the flash there, that was very, very big. I believe that was Sandra's kind of coming around the corner that caught everybody just a little bit and started making that fight in favor of Starbound. So we go second round. FlyQuest get the first pistol. Mainly classics here for Reformed. So it'll be one of those get the spike down rounds. If you can get another one and some kills, do so.
Well, they hear orb being collected, but no movement from Fly so far. Pistols, so pretty chill. But yeah, map pick for Sunset was an interesting choice for the first one to kind of go, honestly. I feel like for Fly to pick this one, definitely thinking that they might just run away with it, which already seeming like pistol rounds looking pretty solid.
Yeah, both teams have kind of 7 plays on it throughout GC so far, so got the reps, have seen each other play. You're right. It seems FlyQuest may have something cooked up here. You get to start on the defensive side, and some teams like that. You get to receive your opponent, see what your opponent's aggression state is, and how they're going to play it. Here's Dodonut plays the Guardian from Market, and still, you know, I thought Afro Reformed was going to go a little bit quicker this round, but they do play it more so for, they want to take guns out of Fly's hand. They're not just saying, hey, plant it and see if we can get it. They're looking to get the most out of this as possible, and I love to see that. It's going to be a hit towards A as the paranoia comes through, just to slow things down a bit.
With some patience there, but already flashed out.
Uh-oh.
Luckily able to get away, but it just seems like it's not even going to be enough, honestly, for Reform, despite the pretty heavy push play that they had going on. But Misu's doing spectacular, taking in some picks of their own. Although, again, just not really what the weapons are going to ask for there with some pistols going against Bulldogs. But yeah, I mean, fair game now being able to kind of refresh with the Vandals here.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of 3 of those kills, going for the site take. Again, classics on that round for Reform. So now they get to put that money to work on this one. It's going to be 3 light armors. And we shouldn't have to face too much. We do see Sonder with the classic, focusing utility with the heavy armor. Switching out to a frenzy. But yeah, low buys overall on a few of the members of FlyQuest. They're going to look to gain that B main control or be ready to take it aggressively. As aggressive as my dog. And we'll see a main control now focused by RF here. They've been focusing Kazler's Seekers with the orbs too. You mentioned earlier they went towards B to get one. So interesting to see that. We don't have the Gecko, so it looks like it's going to be map control from the Seekers.
Yeah, just looking for info, it seems, for Reformed, especially like in mid, looking at Riv, wanting to pick some sort of fight, wanting to kind of learn some sort of rotation while they're fighting up towards A. But Silence still left there, and Lace might just be able to find some info here.
Patient game for Reform.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pink Show kind of pushed that back though.
He likes to play that aggressive, always getting pretty good info at first to put up a little bit of a front, say nope, someone's here, and then TP out pretty safely to whatever util comes in. So they did get the nade out. That feels kind of good. They still have this this position held on anchor site B by Starbound. As Dodo rings out with the Guardian to get the first kill on Riv.
30 seconds left.
Oh, and this is so nice though. Kazler is in a spot where they could find potential later on in the game. But the fight needs to commence now. So many players just stuck around in B. And of course, Starbound's location already given away, but able to get some damage off of Slandy. Although, yeah, already information. 12 seconds left, and absolutely no plant left to be put down on the side of Reform. Too scared while Sonder tries to gain some flank, and a bit too late on the flank of their own for Reform.
One enemy remaining.
Not even enough time.
Okay, Kazler. Yeah, we got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
We remember from the last series, Kazler was one to absolutely lay them down. It's already 4-3-2, but FlyQuest doing very good there, holding the entirety of the map well, and they get that bonus too. They're able to just absolutely capitalize on a two-pistol round with 3 rifles otherwise, and that tripwire. I think that tripwire caused the strat to happen a little faster. Once that trip hit, the wall came out. Oh no, put the wall, and then the wall was just short of the plant spot. So then they got to work around the wall to get to the plant spot, and everything got messed up. Yeah. So a little funny there at the last moment, but it's the pressure that FlyQuest is trying to put on Reformed, but also Reformed. We said they're kind of stringing these rounds out, so they're looking to see if FlyQuest will over-rotate. They're towards mid.
Yeah. The Donut looking pretty confident with, I mean, the off, but they do get walled off. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, Flyer just kind of rolling through on a map like Sunset. This is crazy. I mean, to kind of see already starting off very, very strong for Fly.
That's wild. So the wall strat to the right didn't actually have anybody go mid the first round.
Yeah.
But when it does, Fly's still ready, and a lot of that comes down to Sonder playing on this right side pawn. If anything comes towards pawn or A, easy. If not, Sonder's utility reaches all the way towards market, all the way down towards the top side of Boba, and it just absolutely here obliterates Reformed as they try to come through. Aftershock first to keep them pinned into a box. And then the cleanup all around. The operator's already coming out too. That's not a good sound that Reform would like to hear. But you know, Seekers are up. Maybe the map control comes out here in the late one, but it looks like it might be a little bit faster than usual. They're still playing the 4-1. Still trying to see if Riv can get a lurk and get an idea of what FlyQuest is doing on defense.
Hug lurks up though. The Donut's location has been blown, and they still have the op. So fighting for this could work under the circumstance that they find one. It's Saunders there to help. No fault line to utilize. Instead, having to use everything in their power to try to gain some ground, though. Paint Shell not making it any easier. The Donut's in such a bad position, but they still manage to catch one. Nothing that they can play with here to move themselves up, but still feeling greedy is Misu with a slow.
Ooh,
and it just won't connect. Dude, Fly are just rolling with the punches. So much util being thrown at them, but just able to keep themselves running by. Riv, flawless 2K. So now we're in a 2v 3 position. Kazler super low, no heal for themselves. So the fight here is going to be dangerous, but opportunities there.
That was crazy. You had the battle reloads going on. People were trying to cover. Yeah, finally walk away from that. You can see just on the minimap how messy it gets. An elbow for a moment, and Sight still wants to re-hit. 37 seconds left, and there with the headshot.
And another one that might be easy too, because yeah, Starbound's there just looking for it. So 5-0. This is like, economy's just done for Reform.
Yeah. FlyQuest Cooperation is the name of the game right
Yeah.
now. If one of the teammates is having trouble, another one of their teammates is there. If they can't be there, they're getting utility space control over the shoulder, or they're getting help. And it is absolutely snuffing Reformed on these hits. Even towards that elbow, FlyQuest didn't want to give up any ground. They just fight after fight after fight. And now this operator moves towards B. The Seekers will use that round, but a few more ults come up for both teams. And the 5-0 for FlyQuest gives them the momentum to see now a Sheriff round from Reformed here. They go to Merc mid again. They like this space. Seems like they'll at least find one fight. That's what they want. They want to trade. They're just not coming up on the good side of these trades.
I think it's like great for Fly though, because kind of obviously looking like past history, that third map of Split, it's not going to go in their favor regardless. So if they don't, honestly, in my opinion, like I think it was like what, 13-3 or 13-7 or something. Yeah, it was very, very bad for Fly. So going to that third map is going to be pretty risky. I think here they win this one, they win the next, they're good at Fly. And I think they know that. I think that's why they're playing so hard. They picked a map like Sunset that might serve them well. Like obviously just annihilating everyone across the board. So
yeah,
for them right now, this is like, it's now or never.
Absolutely. And they, like you said, they picked this map. People kind of wonder, maybe, you know, very close percentages on it. Would it be one they go to? Do you actually go for an even map? And then they come out with this start.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy stuff. Still have 3 left. They are going to have to play from lower numbers now from one of the first times I think we're seeing. And now they push into B site from the side of Reformed. TP towards the backside of B. Do they have the timing with the lurk now from Thea? But this from Slandy.
If they keep the patience there, they might just be able to get 2 and a 3K from Slandy with a Vandal pickup. This is huge. FlyQuest might have just lost this, but Paranoia is still readily available. This is where things might go right. There it is. The blind comes through. The wall is there, so they can't even come along to help out Slandy. Just a bit too late, but dissipation of the smoke might come along, and it's Theo with 30 health looking for Misu. Not able to find them just yet, but they need the defusal, and it's not going to be there. A thrifty round to put Reformed back on the board.
Misu with the incredibly needed round here for Reform. They pull out a thrifty. After all the answers were coming through with the shock, or with the sonar bolts, with all the cages that they needed to just shut down Reformed in every position they moved, it was finally the lurk, but it wasn't the lurk from Riv. They showed Riv, there were people that already went down, and it was Slandy, a timing they hadn't seen yet, a mix-up in the round that had just not been seen by FlyQuest, and it was the timing Reform needed. And it was, again, going towards mid. They've always found at least a frag or 2 towards mid, and we said they weren't coming up on the good side of it that time. They capitalized very big. A lot of money to work through, though, on the side of FlyQuest, so more work to be done by Reform, but they favor mid still.
Yeah, they gave themselves a spark of opportunity. Now just aggressively trying to push back on the side of Fly. For them, for Fly right now, they know that this is happening. They're not going to try to really push into anything so far. They just need to keep the site, and that's the objective they're playing with.
I love this style from Reform, too. It's not coming up Daisy, right? It's not coming up really good for them, but they are pressuring FlyQuest to make moves.
And the pressure's there. The Hunter's Fury came out at an awkward time, but the Donut now getting completely downed at the site. So if they want the op, they can pick it up, not seeming like they're interested. But still, location revealed. Everybody knows where FlyQuest is.
This is a fast-paced Valorant after some slow rounds, and Millie starts it again, but Sonder answers, too.
Huge pickup, Sonder 44. Absolutely nothing they can do about it. Thinking Misu's on the wrong side, so this gives a fake that Misu might feed into, giving themselves an opportunity. Fault line, though, stuck there. Huge off Misu, but doesn't know. Isn't able to get it. Defusal! Gone! And Misu with a Red Bull clutch.
Number 2. 2 in a row. Keep it going. Can we get a hat trick out of Misu with the clutches? It's coming down to the clutches, though, as FlyQuest continue to throw themselves at these fights, trading the shots. But now it seems like Reformed is in step. They're playing with each other. They're not disjointed on these takes. There, a nice clutch out, a 2K to end the round for Misu. Now topping the scoreboard for the side of Reformed as things start to change. Now that money's been broken down a bit, FlyQuest are forced to save. And FlyQuest were playing it slow. We saw the first few rounds go down to 30, 20 seconds, even up to round 3 or 4. And it's because FlyQuest isn't showing themselves. Even with the operator, they're not peeking. So you see Reformed have to go hunting. Here on an eco round, FlyQuest do a bit of their own hunting, but that's why I said I'm liking what Reformed is doing. They're being proactive, they're activating and causing FlyQuest to have to move now. None of this slow play. Here towards elbow.
Oh, they're not even looking to peek this. Good smoke from Thea.
Yep.
This holds their strap back pretty heavily. Oh, still looking to peek. Millie pushing this back as far as they can so the team doesn't get annihilated with it. But wow, I mean, on a save round, like the FlyQuest is just not looking to let this go. Luckily enough, a cleanup from Reform, despite the smoke, despite the firepower just really coming onto them.
We got this like all elbow contest going on. There's a war, a second round in elbow where everybody's like, yeah, it's going down right here. It's about to be high noon. So another one goes down towards A. And a little bit of that mid play again to start this round, but not as much. Reforms being a little bit faster in their strategy and their choice to move, realizing FlyQuest is just cemented in their positioning for the most part. We're seeing a little bit of movement out of Dodonut. Sonder will kind of flex back and forth between the back of pawn for a rotation to B and then inside sight as we see now. So yeah, tiles to mid, get this coverage, and then it seems like Reform feels much more comfortable to spread the map after having this little bit of mid control.
Everything's just so empty too in mid, and they know they're making noise. They're kind of expecting them to just push up the way they normally do up towards spawn there. So Fly are kind of prepping for that, but it's not going to happen. Tia might just be able to find somebody here. Yep, and information given away. Rotation coming through from the Sova, and now the battle commences.
Seeker's out. They should be okay on this. Thea's doing a great job of getting early info as long as no smoke spams come through here, and the delay is huge.
Oh, paranoia so good though. They do back off. Not gonna get too into the fight just yet, but finally prepping themselves, and the first one to go possibly might just be Thea. As they're moving themselves in, and it's the confidence from the sky that really gets me here. Is the wide swing just like bare full force going onto site, but
30
yeah,
seconds left.
sometimes the utility's out and you just got a W. All right, push towards pawn. This is actually a crazy positioning from Riv for the retake here on the side of FlyQuest. They have a camera though, actually just saw that from Starbound, so never mind. Riv's gonna have to stay as Misu opens.
ooh, tons of just shooting, I guess. Like, it just happens to be in the side of FlyQuest. Interesting that the gravitational pull was just, I mean, it was doing the work from Slanny, but yeah, just couldn't really pull through with the win there.
Yeah, the wall, I think, ended up making some weird angles that they weren't ready to fight on, regardless of the positioning that they were going to have with the utility to come out. And FlyQuest did a good job, like you said, rotating over very fast off that early Thea, just seeing somebody peek, holding that line. And it was actually a smoke that had just cleared. Reformed was ready to peek off of to see if anybody was trying to get something off of that. So Thea's doing a great job of just getting the shoulder peek out, enough info for the team to get the round. Timeout's going to come out here. Reformed have tried both slow, both fast. They haven't tried hard fakes. Yeah. You know, they haven't tried to just kind of blast pack the Cypher utility or take it out with a nade real quick from a distance and then work another side or make Starbound sweat a little bit on that side. So maybe a little bit more of that. The mid plays, the idea with Misu's wall, I think, is really cool. That's the one that's like, hey, FlyQuest, you're forced to do something because we're coming through the front door on either side. And if you don't have the numbers there, we're going to crush through. So that, maybe with some a bit of refining or just a different way to do it, would be really cool. But I still love that mid strat.
Yeah, there's been like good opportunities too where I feel like the wall really fit what they were doing. I think on B they had the wall up. They were like nobody knew on FlyQuest. There were smokes kind of covering, so they were shooting at nothing, and they just still didn't plant the spike. And I think it's like fear based a lot of the time off of Reformed, which they have it, but they just don't know. But obviously might not know what they have here because the donut's looking to peek, and yeah, Riv ended in seconds.
Oh, I was going to say it's really cool now that Slandy's on that lurk again with Astra. They're going to show Riv, so they may not expect the lurk, and then Riv goes down, and now you know there's going to probably be a lurk somewhere. It's like, come on. Reformed is coming out of a timeout, trying to flex something different. Boom. First blood going to Dodo Nut right off the bat. That's what you're dealing with FlyQuest. They back up, too. They're like, hey, we like that pressure. Now you have to look for us. One way up. Oh, my gosh.
Well,
now there's no lurker whatsoever.
you can't get past the Cypher. Oh my gosh. On a site where Cypher's like util is there, I feel like you should always feel just a bit threatened. The confidence is booming from Starbound.
Yeah. We see Slandy, going to gather with the teammate now. A little bit better of an advantage, or a little opportunity, I should say.
Enemy remaining.
Mid is still being watched like a hawk. After these rounds that Reform went mid. Starbound. Oh my gosh.
Yo.
Absolutely locking onto the faces of Reformed on that round. And that was after the timeout, Gompers. That's just like, yeah, our chat was better. How about that? You know, it's like flat out. Holy moly.
Jeez.
Enemy remaining.
The one taps are just so pissed too. It's crazy. Like, they were like, forget about B. I'm going over to A, honestly. And I
No,
agree.
that's such a good point. That's such a good point. How many times they've gone A and they're like, okay, the B round is now. And Starbound's like, no, it's not ever, actually. And you're right, they go A. That is absolutely something that will make you change your mind about going to the site. A quick 4K like that? No. And again, Thea gets that early info.
She's fighting for her life here. Yeah, Bulldog's not gonna get the shots necessary to keep themselves alive, so they do back off. But yeah, site completely cleared up for Reformed. I do like the retake kind of viewpoint on it, though. Ace might not be in a good position to fight this, but it comes just a bit too late. Rolling Thunder, leaving Fly, allowing themselves to find something more, but Millie fighting back too. Sheriffs able to connect, but of course nothing else. FlyQuest still on their victory route with that 8-3. Wow.
Last round in the half.
Yeah, we wonder, a handful is 4 the handful enough that they need, right? Kind of think that's like 3-ish or 4-ish maybe, so maybe that is the handful. But one more for Reform would be great for this composition that just wants to slow, stall, and do everything. And honestly, we're seeing this util barrage from this composition coming out of FlyQuest that is just not letting Reform set up any of this slow once they get a post plant or even get to the post plant. They're like, oh, they're near site, activate everything, and just FlyQuest just throws themselves in, and you do not know where to look because it's probably a flash, something else, or you getting knocked up by a fault line. Yeah. So Reformed going for this mid again, kind of just back to a default to feel out the map, see if we can get this last round. Get out of here. Get out of here.
The resurrection finally. Dude, it's like punishment again. It's FlyQuest just... this is funny. I don't know what to say. It just sucks too because it's like, it's the moment you think something's going to work. Reform going back to like something they normally do and they just get one tap.
Comfort. Cool. They haven't really peaked market to start off the round. We usually dog and get space. That's a change too. They didn't dog to get space. Castler goes down right away from the peak on Sonder. And again from the res. So they don't even get to use that ultimate, which we're seeing maybe for the first time or second time here as they are still pushed up. Comes away with the info. And still lives. Yeah. And still lives.
Ooh, showstopper! Dude, they try everything. Paint shell throw, flash throw, Theo, wide swings, and then one tap peak. And it's just a huge struggle, I feel like. Confidence is like radiating right now from Fly, and especially with the information given away. They know exactly where everyone is. Saunders feeling confident with a wide swing. That's gonna happen here, and another one from Slandy, and it's just a flawless, just in their pocket again.
That is
Switching sides.
disgusting confidence. I think that's the perfect word you used, Gompers. For Thea to re-peak that after what has happened in that elbow, and especially to see a short-range raise ult, it's not a forward blast pack the team can't get to, so you're expecting maybe 2 or 3 more people to peak, and Thea goes back to peak it at half health. That confidence is just shattering Reformed right now. They're expecting it, but not with this ferocity. And now FlyQuest start on the attack side 9 rounds to 3. With that 6 up, I think they're going to be able to do a lot of damage, feeling how comfortable they are.
Right there.
Let's see how this goes. I think Reformed wants
see.
payback because there's a
They do.
pretty heavy presence in mid right now, and I feel like they're reading into Fly pretty well. Again, this team has played against each other, and they've seen each other's VODs, like you said, so they know. They know.
I mean, the formula of this composition from Reformed should absolutely produce some rounds. Whether or not it's the first few is big, because Pistol's going to give away those first ones if you can't get the Thrifty, and it might just be a force buy from Reformed if they do lose Pistol. So we may not get to see this comp in action if this round doesn't go well for them. Still playing it slow. They're getting FlyQuest to come out of the woodwork and show themselves first, but they're going to choose the site with the trips. As I slow work over here. Riv's going to be on cam, just hiding in sight. But it's going to take quite a while for Reform to close in on this.
Oh, they did see Cam, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's 46 seconds, so at this point, it should be an obvious guess, from Reform to make that rotation over. They know where they're going, and Ping's moving through. Riv now having to fight this, but still not able to get anything back. Sight knocked down immediately, and at the presence in the hands of Misu, just cannot let it go. The donut
2v2?
with a 3K, the 2v1 with Slandy left alone. The star, though, coming up very, very shortly, so there is opportunity for something else, but they can't just take out Lace. It's another win from Fly, and this time it being in the pistol round, so that's pretty dire.
Wow, the speed. So I think taking out the camera, I think, was huge because it alerted them they were on the Cypher side. And the speed at which they killed the first trap that detected a teammate on FlyQuest made the gate actually troublesome for Riv to shoot through, because Riv activated hoping to get a kill. And like the speed at which FlyQuest is making things happen right now is just flustering. Reformed, those shots missed from the Ghost just behind box, and that opening kill that should have come through thwarted. Now a fast play towards A. Slandy's there with the judge, though.
Just speaking out, honestly, they know that they need something right now in this moment, and honestly, I give it some respect there.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the rounds they started going aggressive on attack side, Reformed were able to get a little bit more ground, throw FlyQuest off.
Thrown off, but yeah, this Spire team shooting down to whatever they need to. Riv is just looking for something with a class. 2 head shots, and it's over, but it might just be over for them. Reformed desperately trying to grab on, but at the same time, not able to really get anything. Slandy, I'm gonna give Slandy the benefit of the doubt. I think there's an opportunity to find one here. I think even here, I'll say it. Slandy's gonna clutch.
Okay, let's go. I mean, if you don't manifest it, who will?
I know.
Right? Oh, all right.
Just waiting for it.
Calibrating.
I believe in the Slandy clutch.
Yeah. You've heard it's like 3 Vandals, so you know where all of them are.
Oh, the judge is coming out. It's over for the team. I think.
That was a push me, please.
Yes.
Come on, come over here. But yeah, 3 now on that for Sandra, I believe, on that round, and we go FlyQuest to 11. This bonus is gonna come through. Oh, there was the judge, so we go rejudge. Probably gonna be back towards elbow again, so Slandy had a plan for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, FlyQuest working the map, trying to see how Reformed might play this anti-round. And just another one for Sonder. So that's going to mean Rolling Thunder is just halfway there.
Yeah.
Got a few more ults that are coming close to being on deck for Dodo Nut. But what a first game. Reformed are going to go again for that timeout. I mean, FlyQuest went at the throat last time this happened, and teams will do that a lot. The team tries to set up a different strat. You set up your own protocol, ready for a timeout, ready to play something you haven't shown in it. Reformed has to get around it. They have to figure it out. The adaptation right now to what FlyQuest is doing is priority number 1.
yeah, Reformed kind of is put in a position that's generally uncomfortable for them. And I wonder what they're thinking right now. Is it either like a GG go next, or kind of like, you know what, we got this. We can hold on for the time being. I mean, it seems obvious here with where they're going, like what they're aiming for, especially with like an aggressive A take or something like that. But
I mean, a lot of time a side switch can be the momentum you need, even if you do not get that pistol round. But it becomes this round altogether. You know, they're going to force buy next round if they don't get this, because it's going to be game point. So they're reaching deep into the pockets with already 0 on the board of economy right now. Spikes down as FlyQuest look to work the map for first blood. And Slandy doesn't play towards elbow. It's actually a market hit. So they're hoping that FlyQuest work a slow map and try to end somewhere towards B here. And they've also changed out where Riv is playing over towards that B site. Good start. That's breach down for the initiation.
making tons of noise in mid. They have lost Sonder, so initiation onto site not going to be easy, but especially now with Starbound taken out, they're not even going to go B. It's completely free. They have no idea.
Yeah. They're playing all over the map. Reformed has to just feel like they need to look over their shoulder everywhere right now. If you got somebody going down to B, but you're still fighting over towards A with 30 seconds left in the round, they have to choose a site, so they choose A, seeing FlyQuest there. What a hard fake here on the bonus. Again, after the timeout, FlyQuest pull out this bamboozle round, and Reform's going to be on the other side of the map for this. Again, Slandy could make a play.
Slandy's playing in the smokes. Oh, and they just got pushed out somehow with the donuts. Blast pack helped them. I'm processing that right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's strategy right there. Really well done. 3v3. This could put him on game point. Reformed needs this round. All Vandals up.
3-set back to be the firing squad for the post lamp, but I think they know, and that they do. Nothing util to really use, but they do try to pressure them and zone them out of the way. 22 off lease, but it doesn't matter. They're better, and at this point can't seem to find that last shot to really make it happen. The defusal not able to come through, and the match point set into the hands of FlyQuest.
Staying within their win conditions all the time. Starbound was not included in those fights once that nade came in. Continuously backed up, playing the time no matter what. I mean, once they found they had the site that did not have the strength in numbers, you just play time. Watch your back and drain the clock. Really smart stuff here. Good fights. The pressure from Reformed as good as it could be as they tried to keep pushing into B main without losing their life. And now we're put on a game point. Not a single round yet for Reformed in the second half. And they're going to be showing Guardians here as we come in to round 16, Gompers. A big market play. They're looking to pile those Guardian shots together and take someone down immediately if they can. Saunders is looking to play
Ooh. And everyone peeked up a bit too far off the side of Reform, and this was their last opportunity. Now it's 2 players down, player advantage in the hands of Fly, but it is possible if they manage to pick off Starbound, put Fly in an uncomfortable position, then it's there.
Starbound with all this space again. The lurk go. Oh, just see what Slandy picks it up. A big heal too.
They're wrapping. Yeah, even more than that. They know that Slandy's sitting behind box. That's beautiful.
It's just process of elimination. Too far up. What's happening? How it could happen. Smart play and comms right now from the team. Riv, last alive here. Looking to make magic.
That might be all it is. Got peak moving through, and Starbound finishing it off with a spectacular 13-3. This was not what I was expecting out of a FlyQuest and Reform game. I thought this was going to be a lot longer, but it is the first map and a very comfortable one for FlyQuest at that.
If that happens again, we'll be off into the sunset a lot quicker than we expected. That's for Van Silly, by the way. I'm sorry for everybody else. What a game. I think the word you said, confidence, right off the bat, the whole time. FlyQuest played with confidence. They knew what they were doing was working. Never second-guessed themselves. The way they controlled mid or the way that they retook sites was absolutely smothering with this composition, and they didn't let Reform GC go to work on this map. That was an amazing showing.
No, it was truly spectacular. And you can obviously see what FlyQuest is coming here to show, and it's that they won't lose another game. And maybe another series, but we're going to have to see. I want to hear what the analyst desk has to say right after this break.